major problem faced worldwide is the unequal distribution of food. The economic problem suggests unlimited wants and limited resources. However, these limited resources in a country are not well distributed amongst the population. Only the wealthy have access to these goods, while the others are unable to do so. This may be due to reasons such as finances, transport, or simply the scarcity of resources. According to the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations, the world produces more than 1.5 times enough food to feed everyone on the planet. This means there is enough food to feed over 10 billion people yearly. Still, 2 billion people suffer from chronic hunger worldwide, while over 12 billion suffer from obesity in MEDCs such as Australia. With proper distribution of food, scarcity would no longer be an issue. However, due to the poor distribution, world hunger rates are rising, now affecting over 8.9% of the world.
The causes of uneven food distribution can be attributed to the points listed below. High food prices cannot be afforded by low-income groups and those living in poverty, and this affects their mental and physical well-being. Poor transportation and road networks leads to delay in arrival of food supplies, especially for the impoverished and the malnourished people. Lack of infrastructure such as roads and buildings, climatic conditions such as drought, famine, and natural disasters affecting countries' food production. This also harms the supply of food available for consumers in the country. Political instability and corruption can lead to inequalities in food in the country. Agricultural land previously used for food production is now taken up for development by multinational companies. Unequal distribution of resources. People in rich countries spend a much smaller proportion of their income on food as compared to people in poor countries due to inequalities in wealth. Poor storaging of food, and as of such, animal-sourced foods are a form of overconsumption and redistribution that reduce the amount of available food by increasing the price of basic food staples and redistributing them to feed livestock.
So what are the effects of uneven distribution of food on people? People in MEDCs and LEDCs are affected as they go to bed hungry, unable to afford or produce food of their own due to insufficient income and unavailable land. On one hand, millions of people do not have adequate food supply to sustain their daily needs. On the other hand, millions of people suffer from obesity. 1.2 billion people in the world suffer from chronic hunger, and 12 million people in Australia alone suffer from obesity. This is inclusive of the 650 million people in the world who suffer from obesity. One such proposition that could be made is to impose a compulsory fine in every food store that is imposed on a consumer who wastes food. This encourages people to order as much as they can eat only or decrease the portion sizes served. Portion sizes should be determined by nutritionists in order to dictate how much food intake people need, therefore allowing restaurants to work around that and reduce the wastage of food. There should be also making of new policies for restaurants and hotels to serve the food that they could not sell during the day to NGOs, who can then provide it to the needy. The government should also allow low-income groups and those who suffer from food shortages to buy unused bulk materials from restaurants at low cost. That way, it prevents food wastage from restaurants and allows people to afford the raw materials needed to be self-sustainable.
Another solution of solving the problem of uneven food distribution includes the initiative of the governments to build warehouses and infrastructure for farmers to store their yields in a safe place in times of extreme weathers, which helps to lessen the impact caused by harsh climate. This reduces the amount of food destroyed by natural disasters such as floods or storms, and the increased yield can be sold in the market. This also helps in supporting the farmers with a reliable source of income during tough times.
We should reduce the worldwide consumption of meat and dairy by promoting alternatives such as vegetables, beans, and fruits that will provide much more nutrients for a considerably lower price. With the increasing demand for meat, particularly in MEDCs, a larger quantity of cereal has been required to feed the livestock. For this, more land will be utilized for the rearing of animals and growing of their feed. With decreasing supply, vegetables will increase, and so will the price. As a result, the high price of meat and the increased price of vegetables will lead to rising hunger among poorer income groups.